The following program is intended for a mature listening audience. Graphic and explicit language may be heard at times. The views expressed and opinions given by the individual hosts and their
Hey, welcome everybody. Dark Society Paranormal Podcast. I am your host. I am Shane McLean, and I am so excited to be here tonight. We have such a wonderful guest. Gwen, are you there?
I'm here.
Hey, everybody, It's her birthday. Make sure you guys wish her a very happy birthday. Today she is 22 years old.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Thank you so much.
No, it's great. I really hope you had a great birthday. I really do.
I have.
Tonight we have a very interesting guest tonight. We have he's very intriguing, and I'm just excited to bring him on because
we are glitching badly. So
no. I'm sorry.
Okay. It's okay.
I'm sorry.
There he is.
Yeah, there he is.
Yeah,
Nathaniel, what's happening? How are you, buddy?
Not bad. I decided to walk downstairs to see if I can get my Wi-Fi to reconnect. Maybe it'll stay on. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, ours is glitching some. Also.
Yeah. I definitely get it. Everybody, this is Nathaniel Elwell. He's a great guy, and I look forward to hearing what he has to say. Nathaniel, why don't you tell everybody a little bit about yourself and exactly what you do?
So I've been investigating the paranormal for a little bit over 17 years. In July, it will actually be 18 years. And over my time, I've kind of gotten to the habit of looking at other people's evidence and trying to give alternative explanations to what's going on in the videos. Not everyone really looks at the paranormal the same. So when a person posts a video and I'm like, something doesn't seem right here, I give them an explanation or I offer an alternative. Sometimes they get mad, sometimes they don't. It just depends. But so on top of doing that, I have a TikTok platform where I find videos on that platform and or people send them to me. And I break them down, I dissect them, I still frame them. It's a lot of time and work.
That's interesting. I actually looked you up. I think he is.
It's out a little bit there,
I'm sorry, guys.
There
It's
he
glitching.
is. He's back. It's okay.
Yeah.
He's back.
No worries. No worries. But so on top of doing my TikTok thing, I have a YouTube channel where I download and test paranormal applications that you can get for your smart device. And I basically tell you whether or not I think that they can be legitimate tools for using during a paranormal investigation. At some point this year, I'm self-publishing a book called Downloading for the Dead, Investigating Paranormal Applications based off of my experiences from it.
Congratulations.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome. Now you said you were talking about apps and stuff like that. We use a couple of apps, but we're very particular on the ones that we use. We use Spirit Talker. We use Spirit Talker, and we use that usually on airplane mode. And we use what was the other one that we use?
Necrometer.
Yeah, Necrometer, Necrometer, and Spirit Talker. Now, those are the only two that we use outside of a regular Spirit box. Like, what are your thoughts on those two?
So those two I have not actually physically tested yet. They're on my list for season 2. So the thing is I prefer to open an application for my videos and I test it and I learn the application as I'm making the video. So this way it kind of shows the users how user-friendly the application is. Because let's be honest, if you're in an investigation, right, you don't want an app that's going to be extremely complicated to use. You want to be able to open it, fire it up, start using it.
Yeah. Yep. And I'm glad that you said that because they do, there's some out there. I have one actually on our phone that was recommended. It is so difficult because like you have to go under each setting and set each individual piece to it. I mean, it's a great app. I mean, it costs like $25 or something for this app.
Oh, no.
And I mean, it's a good app, once you get everything, but getting everything to the point where it takes a lot of work to it. And I know people don't have that kind of patience behind it. So what are some of the apps that you recommend in your studies that you've looked at? What are some apps that you use?
So one of my favorite apps, and it's one of my go-tos. It's one of my favorites. The creator of the app, Michael Weber, actually liked my review so much that he sent me a new app that's going to be coming out in season 2. So,
wow.
But it's the Ghost Hunter M3. It's got a ton of tools, some of which you probably wouldn't even recognize. Like most people, don't carry around a barometer. And a lot of people don't even realize that there actually is a barometer in your phone. How do you think it tracks how many flights of stairs you climb? So you have to think about it like this. Your phone, just as any other physical device that we have, your phone probably has more sensors within it than the physical device that you're actually using. And you have so many people out there that don't trust applications. Oh, they can be fake. They can be modified. You know what?
Right.
While that's true, always run it on airplane mode to eliminate any kind of outside interference. That is a huge thing. Always run it on airplane mode.
Yep.
But you have to think, you have touchscreen sensors, right? You have camera sensors. So one of the cool things about the Ghost Hunter M3 that I found is it actually has a lumen detecting device in it. So if you set your camera, so if you set your camera up and say you're in a dark room, and it will actually record all this data for you. So it's a self-recording app as well. So as you set it up, if you see a change in lumens, something in there was giving off light. So that could tell you to go back and maybe check your cameras, right? Maybe someone walked by with a flashlight, or maybe there was actually something within the actual room that caused this thing to go off. And let me tell you, it's got a lot of tools. I think it's got 17 tools total.
Oh, wow.
Wow. So how did you hear? Because there's teams out there that I know quite a few that say I don't even look at you as an investigator if you use your phone instead of. Well, I have found that if you're looking to debunk something or disprove something, you could just about do that to anything. I've heard things on SB7. I've heard it on REM pods. I mean, I've heard it on so many, and I'm trying to get people to understand that a lot of the equipment that we use is all testing ground anyway. There's nothing scientifically proven behind any of this. So and I mean there's no direct theory that says, oh, this is science, this is 100% how it works. Well, I know my wife and I worked a case a few months ago, and we worked a residential case, and we use our SB7, we use the Spirit Talker and the Necrometer, and we not only got to communicate, but we found out who and what it was, what it wanted when it was there, and we were actually able to cleanse the home and get them to move on. And that case is actually going to be on the show in February on my haunted hometown, and that was one of my cases. We're going to go, and we filmed for a few days on that one, and but this whole thing, it's really got me like questioning like why people don't use them, because you're exactly right. Your phone, you use it just like everything else. My wife comes home, she tells me, "Oh, I got this amount of steps today," and I'm like, "You left from your phone," and that's exactly right what you just said. And why wouldn't you be able to use your phone? And to be honest with you, one of your most elite sets of equipment that you can have in the paranormal field is your phone.
Yeah. And a lot of people
And
distrust it, and here's the thing is going back to touch on what you said earlier, if you look at the paranormal, realistically, we exist inside the realm of a pseudoscience.
yep,
There's nothing scientifically based about this. You cannot take it, put it into a scientifically controlled environment and run hypothesis on what we experience. It
right.
happens when it needs to happen.
That's it. And that's exactly right. And we have to continually run tests right here. th- my goal for this show that we had, especially with having you on, is I've said it a million times. Perception is reality. And I truly believe that. The way that I perceive something and the way that you perceive something might be different, and my reality might be different than yours, but that doesn't mean that we can't discuss, talk about, and still be friends after.
Exactly.
I know so many problems that are happening in the paranormal field now with people leaving the paranormal because of all the stuff that's going on. And if you just realize that perception is reality, that you don't have to think like everybody else, but that doesn't mean that you have to put yourself in all this just drama that's going on.
Right.
That's very unnecessary. And we're all in this for the same thing. We all want answers. We all want to find things out. We all want to find the truth behind all this, and when you have good people, wanting to leave because of other things and other people, that's an issue there. And
It
that's
is.
why I'm so glad to have you on, man, because I think what you do needs to be put out there. I think it
It does.
needs to be broadcasted out, because you are the definition of perception is reality. And I think it's really important to have you. And we're gonna do things a little bit different on here. Nathaniel, he brought a few his videos.
I have one question first.
Okay.
I use necrophonic, which is
Okay.
basically just a little different from the necrometer. I like necrophonic better for me. It suits me. And I also use Spirit Talker too.
Yep.
But I prefer necrophonic over everything. Just that's me.
Even over Spirit Talker?
Yeah.
Oh well.
I do. I like it because
I've used
I'm
necrophonic.
Mhm.
It's decent. I enjoy it. I don't
yeah.
like the DR60 sound bank, to be honest. I feel like when you use the DR60 sound bank, it muddies up any responses that you're actually getting. So I feel like that's a portion of the app that completely could have been left off, and I actually cover that in my book, where I feel like that's a portion of the app that was not needed.
Well, let me explain why I like it. Oh yeah, I'll tell you why I like it. Just personally, I hear voices, and when I hear voices on the necrophonic and it sounds exactly like what I hear without any equipment, it just verifies it for me. And it does.
You can identify it from that. Okay.
Yes, if it's saying, okay, if I hear it with just my ears, just me, and then I hear necrophonic and it sounds alike, that's verification for me.
Yep.
It's great.
Yep.
And I haven't tried everyone out there. So that's why I like it.
Yeah,
but I do agree.
If you guys check it out, like the Spirit Talker and the Necrometer, the Necrometer is very similar to the Spirit Talker. And what we like to do is we put them on airplane mode and we'll run the Spirit Talker and the Necrometer. And every single time we've ever done an investigation, they have linked together.
Well, I'll tell you, Chris O'Toole and Shane, I know you can't see this, Nate. I think you can. It says light necrophonic as well. You got it? Okay. But she says light necrophonic as well, but it can be cleared through proper configuration. So,
Yep. So guys, this is what we're gonna do is he's got some videos and I'll let you go ahead and explain what's going on in the videos, and we want to hear from you guys. We want to hear from you guys what your perception is, what your reality is, what you feel about this, and then also I want to hear from some of the audience here what you feel, about using your phone, using regular equipment, what you think works, and guys, listen, there's no wrong answers here. There's no wrong. Perception is reality. Right. The way that you perceive things is how you perceive things. I'm not here to change your mind. What I'm here to do is listen to you and get a better understanding of what you all, as paranormal investigators, have to say about this. So, Nathaniel, why don't you tell us about your videos?
So, I'm not sure exactly which one she's going to use tonight. I know I said
I have three. One's 57 seconds, one's 2 minutes, and then one's 4 minutes. I didn't actually get a chance to look at all of them. So tell me which one to start and we'll go from there.
You know what? I'm pretty sure I sent you, I think it's the 4 minute one. Let's start off with the one that I could not explain. To give people...
That's the 4 minute? Is that the 4 minute?
I believe it is, but if it's not, then I can always just on the fly adjust whatever video you post.
Right. Just do this if it's not what you want to hear. Okay.
Okay.
Because it'll cut our voices out. Here we go, you guys.
All right. Let's see it.
Did this security camera footage capture some form of extremely strange light anomaly? Or is there some form of more logical explanation for this video? So I've been sitting on this video for quite a while now, and I'm excited to finally get to it. Because I'm not going to sit here and lie to you, this video is well beyond intriguing, and I have looked at it over the past several months from every single angle that I could possibly think of. This video was featured on the Travel Channel's The Osbournes Want to Believe Season 2 Episode 4, as well as the Travel Channel's Paranormal Caught on Camera Season 3 Episode 19. So can I bring some light to what's happening in this video? Or is the only light in this video the anomaly itself? Let's start the breakdown. And it seems as though I almost forgot to tell you to go and watch the whole original video, as there was more going on than what I could show you in that short stitch time frame. However, there's no need to do that because I did show you the whole original video at the start of this one. So as you saw, this wispy ball of light comes down from where the street light starts and almost stops just above the pavement. Now the thing that struck me as odd here is how it was conforming shape as it moved down. It was moving in a very, very unnatural manner, unlike anything I've seen before. And as the anomaly stops just above the pavement, it does something else that I've never seen before. It sits there and it hovers for 7 seconds before moving on. And the whole time it's hovering, you can see it, once again, conforming shape. You can see the exterior shifting. It's such a strange thing to see. After it's done hovering, it makes its way off to the right side of the video, disappearing out of frame, but not before taking what it looks to be a human-like shape. During my still framing process, as this anomaly made its way to the right side of the screen, I did notice something that struck me as slightly odd. As the anomaly passed by the second pole in this video, for some reason the pole seemed to split in two. Now, this could be an editing glitch, or this could be because of the fact that the anomaly is so bright, as it passes in front of the pole, it's giving the optical illusion that it's splitting into. And we'll talk about that now. I'll say that I feel completely comfortable ruling out the editing glitch theory. And the reason I say that is when it passed in front of the other two poles at the beginning of the video, you see the same exact effect. So it wasn't passing behind the pole, it wasn't passing through the pole, it was passing in front of the poles. The light was just so bright that it completely blocked out the darkness of the pole itself. So that begs the question, what in the hell exactly is going on in this footage? Does anyone out there have any ideas? Oh, Ozzy, there was one time it was actually ball lightning. This is not ball lightning. I guess in his defense, I did ask for opinions. But let me tell you something, guys. I went through this video over the last several months with a very fine-tooth comb, and I'm going to just tell you, I'm at a loss. Now, I know I would normally jump on the, oh, it's probably CGI theory, right? But this video is older. Now, while, yes, the clarity is not that great, which does make it easier to manipulate, if this was CGI done with the age of this video, then it was very well done. And I'm going to show you one more slide to explain why I think that. So first things first, security camera footage is difficult to edit in this form of fashion. Now, it can be done, but as I said, with the age of this video, this person would have had to really know what they were doing to cause the effect that I'm seeing here. As the anomaly moves across the screen, there is a light reflecting on the ground below it, and that light fluidly reflects the movement of the anomaly as it moves across the screen. And I've broken down enough videos that were done in CGI from this day and age that could not replicate the movement of that light on the ground reflecting from the anomaly. So that brings us to this. What are my thoughts on this video? I tried every way possible that I could think of to explain this. I looked into the theory that maybe it was a plastic bag that was caught in the wind. Or maybe it was a spider or a bug that was extremely close to the lens, giving the effect of something off in the distance. But none of those theories seem to check out. So for me, I'm at a loss. This is one that I could not break down. I'm going to have to put this one in my unexplained column. Now, guys, if you have an explanation for this video, or if you would like to give me your insight, please leave it in the comments below. Or you can stitch this video or duet this video and just let me know your own thoughts, because this one has me stumped. And guys, it's not that often that happens. So for me, I'm going to have to lock this one up in the unexplained column. But that's just my opinion. What's yours?
Wow.
That was crazy.
Yeah. Because another thing too is, was that like CC cameras, like closed caption cameras?
I do believe it was. I actually, after I posted this to my YouTube channel, the original person who caught this on video actually contacted me and told me that it was shot on a closed circuit camera.
That's interesting, because there wasn't any kind of motion, because sometimes with motion closed circuit cameras, when they move like this, they censor on something which can cause a light refraction at the end when it's moving. But I didn't see that there, and I was looking, and another thing is when it was moving across the front of that pole, and right there, I mean, like, it was definitely by itself. I mean, it wasn't a bag, it wasn't anything. I mean, and the fluid motion of it was something totally different too.
Yeah,
it almost looked like it was rolling, like, so I don't know.
Yeah, it was literally, it was almost like it was rolling as it went. And like I said, you know, I mean, I've done enough of these videos that I looked, you know, for different aspects. I was looking for refraction of light, maybe something's off in the distance, shining it at just the right angle. You can encounter that with a dual mirror camera sometimes. So, you know, if it's off in the distance, it might reflect the light. I didn't see that. I didn't see anything here that would be a lens flare. I didn't see any of that here. And the way that it moves is what really caught me. And then the light reflecting off of the somewhat wet pavement underneath it. That's what sold it for me, because that is very difficult to recreate now as well. Well, it's not difficult to recreate, but it's difficult to recreate and have it follow the fluid motion of the actual object itself.
Yeah. And also I noticed too is also look for the shadowing. You know, the shadowing of it, you know, when it dropped, you know, it didn't put that much of a shadowing that was there. So I mean, even if it was an object, like a bag or something that was behind a light or something like that, you would still see shadowing of it while it was
Correct.
moving. But the fluidity of that motion is what kind of threw me off. What are your guys' thoughts on there? Like in the audience here, what are your guys' thoughts on that?
Yeah, I agree.
It
The
started.
way that it shifted. Yeah, the way that it
Mhm.
Yeah.
shifted into a human-like form at the end was very, very strange. And you know what? Once again, that's why I kind of ruled out the editing theory, because the way that was done was so fluidly done. Like
Yeah.
Mhm.
it was one of the strangest videos I've seen.
Yep.
I'm actually watching it again on my phone. Sean, who is external ex Wolfpack, he was talking about.
What's up,
That's the one I
Sean?
got up. Yeah, he said it's interesting, especially how it shifts in the human form. True, because I watched it several times this afternoon. I kind of got stuck on that one and didn't watch the other ones. I'm so sorry, Nate.
No worries, no worries.
But it was that interesting to me. And Kenneth is on. He said, "Hey, Chris is on. Chris, what do you think?" She does show. She's the new show on Wednesday night now.
Hey, Chris.
If you're watching, what do you think? How about you?
Yeah, what are your thoughts on that? Think about this before you answer. Think about the lack of shadowing, the brightness of the light, the fluid of the motion. Just there's too much there. And another thing too is it really wasn't close enough. You saw it from a distance there,
Right.
and usually you could see if it was like a fume or something like that. But I'm really stumped on that one.
Yeah,
I
and
am
you
too.
know, if it was a bug that was too close to the lens, which I've seen that kind of optical illusion before, where if a spider came into the lens, it looked like it might have been at a distance, but it wasn't. It was really close up and just blurry. I'm not, like I said, I'm not seeing that here. Typically, I can clean that up a little bit and I can kind of start making out the legs within the actual ball itself if it's a spider that's too close to the lens. And when I did my cleanup, I didn't see that. So I could definitely rule that out as well. And just like I said, the video itself is one of the most intriguing that I've come across in my time of doing this. So,
Yep.
I mean, I've got nothing.
Yep. Is
It
that
is-
Father K right there?
He said, "I'm going to have to watch it." He had missed when we played it.
Oh,
All right. Well, Chris might not be. I'm gonna actually message her personally because
yeah, that's fine. That's fine.
she's very I don't know. She's interesting to talk to.
I'm
absolutely.
I'm relatively sure that Chris has already seen it, but she could definitely give you her opinion on it. I'm very good friends with Chris. I know her very well.
I thought you were. Yes.
That's awesome. I like videos like that. And you said it was on a few shows there. I'd like to really put that on a bigger screen because I'm on my phone, so when I'm looking at it, I can't see it like you guys can. But I'm gonna take this video and I'm gonna put it on a bigger screen and I'm really gonna look at it because I think.
Well, Sean is actually asking, can I replay it again? And is that okay? The first part of it, you guys, is that okay?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Fine. Yeah. Please. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Because
all right, she's gonna play it again, guys.
We have another show at 8:00, but we can do what we will. But this is just too interesting not to play again, if that's okay. All right, I'm gonna just play the first part of the video again.
Yep. Go ahead and play the beginning so people can.
Did this security camera footage capture some form of extremely strange light?
Yeah, you guys see,
I don't think you can hear it.
and that's crazy to me because we were looking and I mean you can clearly see. I mean, you can see 90 degrees right there. It drops straight down like this and then goes just like this all the way across. And I was looking at the trees behind it. I was looking at, everything. And you can see those clear as day. And it's not something that was, what are your guys' thoughts on that? Like what?
Yeah, because
I'm waiting.
You know, yeah, because that's the whole thing. You know, is whenever I do these breakdowns, I'm doing the same thing you're doing as well. As I'm looking at the background, I'm looking for different things. And this actually started as an accident while we're waiting on people to respond what they saw. Actually, me and my daughter were watching an episode of Paranormal Caught on Camera. And they had a video up there of a place in Huntsville called Dead Children's Playground. I've actually been there. It's in Huntsville, Alabama. And so when this video came up, it was basically a swing going back and forth. And they were talking about how it was unnatural and there was no wind. And I paused the video and I kind of started rewinding it and I was looking at it. And I was like, yeah, these experts don't know what they're talking about in this case. And my daughter was like, well, why do you say that? I was like, well, first off, I want you to look at the white caps on the water in the background. That tells me the water's choppy. If the water's choppy, then there's most likely wind going on. Also, look at the tree above the swing set. When we've zoomed back out and I zoomed out the screen a little bit, you could see the trees kind of swaying, but the experts are saying there was no wind. So obviously there was, but she was like, how did you notice all that? I said, I just noticed it. And she was like, well, you should really start doing that on your TikTok. And that's kind of how it came about.
That's and let me tell you something, Nathaniel. That's so needed there because I've got friends that are 100% debunkers, and I've got paranormal enthusiasts like myself and others. And I'm always, my first rule of any kind of investigation is debunk everything obvious first. So even
Oh, well, I was going to say, one of the things that I love to say whenever I do my public events and stuff is always assume the natural before you look at the supernatural. Debunk before you say. That way, if you put out a piece of evidence online and someone rips it apart, you can't get mad because you took your due diligence to rip it apart yourself first.
Yeah, that's so smart to do, because I mean you're saving yourself a lot of heartache too, because there's nothing worse than finding out later on that something that you truly believe was evidence, could easily be debunked,
Right.
and I mean, if you sit back and just really look at what you have and really like I watched the video today and I was pretty stumped behind it, and these people moved in to this brand new place and had a baby in the crib that was in there, and the baby was in the crib by itself, and every it was like 2-3 o'clock something in the morning, and the door to the baby's room was open, and you clear as day, you hear it sounds like boots walking right up to the door, and this is the baby cam now, and the door slammed and hit. The baby didn't move, and then as clear as you see, a black shadow or a black was filtered right over the baby's thing, and it grabbed the teddy bear that was inside the baby thing and threw it to the other side. And I was thinking, okay, now the way that moved, the teddy bear went towards the wall, so there couldn't have been anybody on that other side next to the wall. There couldn't have been anybody. There wasn't any lights on in there for it to show that shadow of a figure over there on top, and it was wild to me, and I saw it and I was like, man, that would be pretty difficult to try to debunk right there.
Well, if you can
And
the way again, send it to me.
Okay, all right, yeah, I'll have to look in, because I watch I watch this channel called Creep Caught, and a lot of times they have a lot of paranormal things in there, and that's what they want you to do. They want you to look at them and give your honest thoughts behind them, because they do everything between door cams, I mean, crimes, paranormal stuff like that. And I saw that, and the guy even said, he goes, I really can't explain this one. And it was difficult because, like, after the door slammed, like, it slammed back, and after the door slammed, you can clear as day hear footsteps walking away, and it sounded like heavy.
Be interested to see.
Yeah, and there was nobody walking.
I think everybody's going back. I know Sean's going. I actually sent it to him. Chris is driving, doing her job. Why don't we
Okay.
go to one of the other ones, and if they want to comment on it,
Yeah.
we'll go back.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it.
All right. There is one that's 2 minutes, and then there's one that's 57 seconds.
All right, let's do the shorter one first. Let's do the shorter one first, and then we'll go up to the other one.
Okay, there we go.
Nope. Nope. Did somebody just capture what appears to be the corpse of a spider moving on its own? Or is the truth here much more disturbing? Let's have a closer look, because there is nothing paranormal going on here. It's just something that I would have rather not known existed. Let's start the breakdown. First, let's touch on people saying this is a new species of spider. As you can see in the examples above, this is nothing new. This phenomenon was actually discovered by Alfred Russel Willis in 1859. I'm not sure what's worse, the fact that it was discovered in 1859 or that I'm just finding out about it. Orpheocordyceps unilateralis is also known as the zombie ant fungus. Although it's not just known to ants, spiders can be infected with this as well as grasshoppers. And here are some more examples of other spiders that have been infected with cordyceps. And while the spider is dead, the fungus makes the corpse reanimate and move around.
Nope.
Yeah.
Nope. Just nope.
That's a hard note for me.
So let me ask you this. So the spider, is it living or not living?
It's technically living, but it has a host fungus on the inside of it. Now, the fungus will eventually kill the spider off. So when the animal, it can affect grasshoppers, ants, all different kinds of smaller insects, right? So whenever the fungus takes hold, it will eventually kill off the animal, but it will continue moving for like a week after it's dead.
Oh.
Wow. So that very well, that what you just showed with that spider, it could have been dead.
It could have been.
And still able to move like that. So what, it goes into like every single limb and basically the fungus like controls every bit.
Yes.
It's a living organism.
Yes.
Wow. That's interesting.
Yeah. So I figured I'd share that one with you guys to show, the viewers at home, I don't do just paranormal videos. I look at everything because I'm a paranormal researcher. I do cryptids, I do ghosts, I do UFOs. I've been known to look into spontaneous human combustion and near-death experiences. And, I find all these different random stuff. And that one right there is more along the lines of, hey, I can educate someone on what's actually going on here instead of them looking at it and being like, how is that possible? That's not paranormal. I actually recently did one last week with a transparent lizard, and that one was pretty fun.
A transparent lizard. Wow. Okay.
Yeah, that was
we're gonna have that.
Oh yeah. All right, you want me to go ahead with the other one?
Yeah.
The 2-minute one?
Please.
All right, let's do it.
Standing by the beds of both her granddaughter and 7-month-old grandson.
Did somebody just capture what appears to be a demon standing by the cribs of their grandchildren? Or is this figure something much less evil? Let's go ahead and have a closer look. I saw a few things that tipped me off that this famous photograph may not be paranormal. Be sure to go and watch the whole original video, as there was much more going on than what I could show you in that short stitch time frame. This video was featured on the Travel Channel's Paranormal Caught on Camera Season 4, Episode 15. Now let's start the breakdown. My first complaint's the overall clarity. This must have been shot from a cheaper version of an IR nanny cam. This blurriness adds a ton of distortion to the figure in the photo, and that's where the confusion comes in. The first thing the experts point out is this bulging eyes. I've seen this before. It's a reflection of the IR off the skin of their cheek. And as I'll point out later, the eyes are clearly above what they're trying to point out. And next thing they pointed out was a claw. If you were holding your hands like this, if you were tiptoeing, that distortion is going to cause your hands to look like a claw. The next thing the experts point out are these glowing horns. Now if you look closely, and please tell me if I'm wrong here, do you not see a circular shape around these said glowing horns? Does that not look like light reflecting off of some eyeglasses? And yes, IR light will reflect off of glasses. We just can't physically see it, but the camera can. And there's so many different variations and types, so please have a look at these. Pause it, go back for a second, have a second look at the figure, and tell me if you think I'm wrong, but I don't think I am. And my final complaint on this video is the fact that they show 2 different time frames. The first time frame shows the crib empty with nobody standing in front of it. Second time frame shows a figure creeping off as a child is sound asleep. So my question would be, if this is actually a legitimate video, why would you not show one cohesive video instead of 2 frames in time spliced together? If you ask me, this was nothing more than a grandparent putting their grandchildren to bed. The arm looks distorted because they were trying to tiptoe off so they did not wake up the children. And the glowing horns is just a reflection of the IR light off some glasses.
The only issue is the cheap IR distorted this figure so much that maybe they didn't realize that they were looking at themselves. So I say this is nothing more than a person, not a demon. Just my opinion. What's yours?
That's very very well noted there, because I could definitely see that, because like, you know, the look when the head turned right there, I could definitely see where you're saying with the glasses, because that camera will pick up the light refraction from right there. There was two rounding on the top, the hand, like it was moving, like if a grandparent was standing there like looking like this. I mean, I definitely would not have thought that was a demon or anything demonic that was in there.
Right, right,
I
that
definitely
was what,
wouldn't.
and that's exactly what they were doing on TikTok, is they were literally going out there saying, "Oh, demon caught on camera, demon caught on camera." Yeah, no, no, it's just people are annoying sometimes when they go out there and they post this stuff, because they don't exactly know what they're looking for. They see something that looks strange, and so they automatically think, oh, well, that's not right. This must be paranormal, or the common label now is it must be a demon. You know what? I've been investigating the paranormal for over 17 years. I've never encountered a demon. I've encountered some nasty human entities, but you have to think, if a person was a nasty person in life, they're going to leave behind a nasty residue. That's just how it works.
Yeah,
So just because you go to a location and you get scratched or you get bit, that does not mean that there's a demon there. It just might mean that you're coming in
right.
contact with somebody who was a nasty person in life.
Yes.
Yep,
Many
you're
times.
exactly
Yes.
right. Yep, and that's funny, you know, because I am I'm the parochial vicar, or as associate pastor for the Solomonic Order of Saint Michael the Archangel. And you know, we deal a lot with spiritual warfare cases and demonic cases and things like that. And I can tell you this, out of paranormal and just cases in general, 1%, 1% may be demonic.
Yeah.
And just like you're debunking, you know, all this obvious, you know, we look for those things too in our testings. You know, we look for the physical aspects, we look for the psychological aspects, we look for all aspects that can explain, like if it's a mental health issue, you know, what are the side effects of that mental issue, you know, what kind of medications are you on, what kind of side effects to those medications. There's so many variables there that you look at. Now granted, if you take someone with schizophrenia and you take someone with a demonic oppression, they look so familiar. They are very familiar, but there's certain things, you know, like a schizophrenic person, you know, is not necessarily have 5 or 6 voices speaking out at one time. You know, they're not going to be able to speak Aramaic, which was, you know, things that Jesus spoke. They're not, because a demon will try to impersonate and speak Aramaic as to like downplay Jesus, and Hebrew, Greek, you know, Latin, stuff of that nature, you know. And I mean, there's a huge difference there
What's up,
between
Josh?
a mental illness and demonic.
Yeah, and you know, and that's the whole thing, is whenever you do this kind of stuff, especially when you deal with residential cases, you know, you have to take all of that into account. And sometimes people get offended when you ask them those kind of personal questions, like, you know, you go back into their history, any history of physical abuse, that's mental, sexual, any of that. You have to know this
Yeah,
kind of stuff, because that can cause all kinds of havoc within their own psyche. So that could take you now to the point where, okay, well, maybe we're looking at it to where it's not necessarily a demon. Maybe they have something going on in their head that they're unaware of.
right,
Then you go
right,
into that. Have you ever had an examination to see if you have any kind of mental disorders and stuff? You know, and people do get offended with those questions, but we're not asking those questions to be invasive. We're also asking those questions for our
right,
own safety, because we have to be in that building with you. We want to make sure that you are
right,
mentally stable and you're not going to attack us. Because I have
right.
been in 1 or 2 spots where a person physically became violent on an investigation because they had an illness that I wasn't aware of.
See, and that can be dangerous too. And that's another thing too, is a lot of people don't realize that you have to be careful who you have investigating with you too. Because if you
Yes.
bring somebody in that may have a mental illness or something like that, or they're going through some trauma, and they're like, "Oh, I just want to get out and do something fun. Oh, let's go paranormal investigate," and then they go in there, and then something happens to them, to where they feel the oppression from whatever is there, and it starts affecting them. That could really be a dangerous situation, not only for
Oh, it
you,
absolutely can.
but for everybody else that was there.
Yeah, and that's why I'm so strict with the people that I let in. Like, typically when I have someone apply, right, I give them a handbook, I give them a field and evidence guide, I make them read it, I give them 3 months to read it. So they're automatically on a 3 month probationary period. So I give them 3 months to read it. They have to pass an examination. I give them the test. I got 6 different versions of the test, so there's no way they could have gotten answers. I give them the test. They have to pass with a 94 or above. If they don't pass the test, I'll give them one chance to retake it. If they fail it again, then I don't even consider them to be a part of my team, period. And
Right.
then, I also have set standard rules. If I have nothing against what people do in their personal life. You know what? I've been known to partake in drinking. I have no issue with it. But you cannot drink and you cannot do any form of weed or any kind of drug 48 hours before an investigative process, because you're going to bring in that energy from that. So, I have a very
Mhm.
strict process that I follow.
And rightfully so. You definitely should. I am the exact same way. I'm part of the demonology department for Spur,
Right.
which is Stokes Paranormal Investigative Research, and I mean I'm part of the demonology team there, and we definitely try to analyze and break down everything, including the people that we have with us. We check backgrounds. We check where your mental state is, if you have anything like that going on, because we don't want to take a chance of having you on an investigation and something happening to you, and
Correct.
and then that falls back on us. And not only that, but you could get hurt and everybody else there could get hurt too, because
Yeah,
not let's be real, not all
it's not just a
locations are, are friendly.
Right. So it's not really just a safety thing for us as well. It's a safety thing for them also. And,
Mhm.
some
Right.
people don't look at it that way, but that's really how it should be, because we should be able to look out for one another in that manner.
Yes.
That's
All right, we
it.
have one
That's it.
comment on
And,
the video, on the first video.
okay.
If y'all
All
are,
right.
oh well, Tom. Hey, Tom, how are you? Tom's popping in
Hey,
too, but
Tom.
Sean is saying, let me read it. Nate, you can see it. I noticed when
Yep.
that light just about hits the ground, almost looks like a shadow in it.
So
He's
I
talking about.
did notice that.
Mhm.
I wasn't sure exactly what it was, but I didn't feel like it was anything extremely important to point out. I thought maybe with just the way that it was undulating shape, that it could have just been
Mhm.
the way it moved, maybe caused a shadow within the center of it. Um, but that's a very good point. That's something that I will definitely go back and have a closer look at. Maybe there is something more there that I just didn't notice.
Well,
He
I
said
felt
he
like,
saw. He said he saw a shadow. I didn't see a shadow there.
yeah, I
So
That's
sent it to
interesting.
him so he could see it. But yeah,
yeah, so
I
he is right. There is one there. I just wasn't sure what it was.
right. Well,
Mm.
I feel like it was actually trying to form itself. That's just my opinion. And when it did, maybe that's why it has a shadow now, because it was a form instead of just the light.
Perhaps.
I don't know. My friend Miss Kitty, she said, "Hey guys, and happy birthday."
Hey, Miss Kitty.
Thanks. Sorry. Let's see, and it looks like it's skipping. Well, yeah, it kind of
Yeah,
did. It was
yeah,
kind of rolling,
100%.
and yeah.
100%. When it was going across the screen, you could kind of see it bouncing a little bit. And then when it
Mm-hmm.
starts to take that human-like form near the end of the video, you can definitely see it where it looks like it's skipping across the road. So yeah, that's
Yeah.
100%.
My
Yeah,
wife
it
said.
did.
My wife said it looks like
Mhm.
it's walking. It looks like it's going across, like
Yeah,
it like it was moving. And I mean, it definitely did look like that. But what really got us is the way that it descended from. I mean,
Yeah,
it was so smooth and just so, and then once it got right down there to that ground level, that's when it started. So I mean, you notice there wasn't any kind of that shaking, that bouncing as it was going down. You know,
Right.
it
It
was
was just a
only when it
smooth,
was on the
fluid
ground
motion.
there. So that's very interesting, man.
I'm
Yeah,
going to be
I
looking at that.
agree.
I played mine on the TV, so it's bigger. So, but
I'm
yes,
gonna look
it's
at that too.
interesting.
I'm gonna look at it again too. I'm definitely gonna look at it. You know, I'm gonna have you back for another round too, and I'll
Yeah.
schedule it with you sometime.
Oh,
And
please.
you know, now that we have, because I want you to bring more of these videos, because I think it's so important that this is established in the paranormal field. You know, you guys need somebody like him on there that can look at the videos, that can look at your evidence and give a rational explanation if it is rational. You
And I can
know,
promise you
if it
this:
is, you
if
need
you send me,
someone
if you
like that.
and I can promise you this, if anyone out there watching, you send me any of your personal stuff, I'm not going to be rude about how I do it either. I'm just going to sit there and tell you, look, this is what I see, this is what I think. Obviously it's your perception versus mine, so it's literally nothing more than an alternative opinion. That's it.
Yes. Please tell us how to
Perception is
get in touch
reality.
with you.
Uh,
Yeah.
so you can
Tell.
find me on Facebook at Nate Elwell. You can find me on TikTok at Static Voices. You can find me on YouTube at Static Voices. I have a Twitter at Paranormal Nate. I don't use it very often, but I do have one. And my
Mhm.
Instagram, just let's forget the thing even exists, because I'm about to do away with it. Instagram is annoying.
I agree.
It is.
But yeah,
It
All
is.
right.
It is.
so next time you guys have me on, what I think I'll do is I'll share some videos with you guys that I was able to actually recreate.
Oh,
So,
that'd be
I
cool.
I love doing that as well. If I can find a video that I can physically recreate, I will do that and physically recreate it to the best of my abilities.
Now, let me ask you this before we end everything. Let me ask you this. Has there been a time with a video or an experience that you have had to where there is not one single explanation for it?
I do have one of those actually. Old Coffee County Jail, Elba, Alabama. We were doing a investigation for the Chamber of Commerce in the town. So when the jail had closed down, they turned it into a haunted house. And well, because why not, right? So when people were walking through, they were seeing an actor in an area of the jail where no actors were actually stationed. They would go by and they would tell the owner as they were coming out, man, that person back there did such a good job. They look so realistic. And he was like, there's nobody back in that area. We don't know what you're seeing. So the Chamber of Commerce called us and asked us to come and investigate. So we investigated it. 20 years to the day of the anniversary of Sheriff Neil Grantham being shot to death by a former inmate on the front steps.
Ooh.
So we went in there, and there's upstairs, it's got what's called a bullpen setup. So it's basically an open
Yep.
style setup because it wasn't known for being a violent location. So it's just an open style setup. Downstairs, you had 3 jail cells that had 4 bunks, 2 on each side, and then you had one singular solitary cell. So the solitary cell, the hinges were so old and rusted that it took 4 cans of WD-40 and 5 of us to force the door open. We get the door open finally. I'm in there doing audio work. I have a camera set up down the hallway on the door, and I have another camera right in front of me pointing into the cell where I'm doing audio work. Simultaneously, both cameras died, and the door that just took 5 of us to open slammed shut on its own volition. I was stuck in there for an hour.
Oh man. So I mean, there's nothing. So were you were inside of it and it slammed?
Yes. I was in there, and I was stuck in there for an hour. They couldn't get the door
Oh,
back
wow.
open.
Wow. See,
Did you get any evidence while you were in there? Like, did they say anything to you?
Oddly,
To
we
explain?
caught nothing on the audio recorder whatsoever, other than the loud sound of the the door shutting.
Yeah.
But like a breeze didn't move that door.
Oh, no.
Nobody was near the door. The rest of the team, I do believe that there was 2 people in the back hallway. There was 2 people on the outside, and then the other 2 people were up in the bullpen setup. So there was no one even near the door.
yeah, yeah. Well, remember what he said too. Wasn't it the 20th anniversary or something like
Yep.
that for the
20th
sheriff?
anniversary of the sheriff being shot to death on the front steps, like 20th anniversary to the day.
See, and that could have been the sheriff. That could have been the sheriff there trying to shut the prisoner back into the solitary confinement.
And it could have been because he might have thought that, hey, there's a prisoner in the cell right now. Why
Mhm.
is it open?
Yep.
So, I mean, that is always possible. It's one of those things, like I said, I have no explanation for it. I don't know how it
Wow.
happened. I wish I did know how it happened. Honestly, I wish the cameras hadn't died. And what that was the odd thing about it is, and I know that from your time of doing paranormal, you know, equipment dies when big things happen. They
Oh
use
yeah.
that battery drain. And so to
Oh
Oh,
have
yeah.
my
both,
my phones die all the time at home. So
yep.
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
And so
just being at home. Yeah.
to have both the cameras that I had set up on the door die simultaneously at the same exact timestamp, that in
Mm.
itself is an astronomical aspect.
Yeah. Yeah. Your chances of that are like, yeah, that is astronomical. It really is.
Wow.
That it's very interesting, man. You know, I've been in paranormal since, you know, I had experience when I was 5 years old, you know, so I've been chasing this thing and I'm 47 years old. So I mean, I've been chasing it, you know, looking for answers, you know, and I think it's so important, you know, to have views like you have.
Hmm.
You know, because if more people in the paranormal field actually sat and took their videos with their evidence, and that's another thing too, is, you know, when people post evidence on, you know, you go under and somebody looks at it and then they're like, oh, you need to be in a mental hospital, that's not paranormal. You know, instead, why don't you try to rationally explain to the person why you do or do not think it's paranormal?
Exactly.
And I mean,
Exactly.
we're civilized humans too, you know. We don't need to be bashing people around just because you may not think the same thing that I do. Perception is reality. That was the whole goal of this show tonight, is perception is reality.
Yeah.
And you, Nathaniel, you are the definition of just that. You are perception is reality. And I cannot thank you enough for coming on with us. I cannot
Yes.
thank
Thank
you
you.
enough
Oh, you're
for
very welcome.
showing us, for showing your videos. And we need to have you back on again. You know, I'd like to see some more of your videos. And like you said, you said you do other things besides paranormal too. So you do cryptids, Bigfoot, kind of
Yep.
stuff like that. Yeah,
Awesome.
that that is
I've got
that.
a lot of yeah, I've got a lot of cryptids. I got a lot of Bigfoot videos I've broken down on my channel. I've got, you know, a lot of UFO videos I've broken down. Actually, I released a UFO one last week actually. And so right now I've got 48 videos in queue to break down. So there's a lot more content coming.
Wow.
Nice,
Yeah,
nice.
it definitely is.
And I'm glad that you're doing the thing with UFOs, because I definitely want to have a show with that, because, you know, here recently there's been a lot
The
more
drones.
sightings and stuff
Hmm.
that's going on, you know, and you know, if we can rationally break down some of these things, you know, I would definitely like to hear that. And but Nathaniel, listen, man, we got to cut it. We got to cut it here. We're
Yes,
getting
sir.
close,
Yeah, I got
but I
another
want to
show.
thank you so much.
Guys, it was
And
great
so does
talking
he.
to
So
you.
does he.
Yeah, it was
Yeah,
great talking to you. And,
exactly.
you
Yep.
know, I'm humble for the
Thank you.
invitation. Thank you guys for letting me come on and chat. Anytime you want to have me back,
Oh,
you
yeah.
know what?
Thank you.
Just reach out. We'll schedule something up. I'll be more than happy to come back on and chat.
Thank you, man. And you've been
Wonderful.
wonderful, man. And
Wonderful.
thank you for your enthusiasm.
Yeah.
Thank you for what you do. And guys, if please go look him up, go find him,
Yes.
you know, follow what he does on TikTok, you know, because he's got some very good insight on things. And I think this is needed in the paranormal field. And I
It
really
is.
thank you for coming on here and shedding some light on some things, man. It's been a blast, brother.
All right. Show us out.
All right. All right, guys. Thank you guys. Thank you guys for coming on tonight. Thank you guys for being here with us. And you know, we need things like this in the paranormal field, because if we don't have a rational explanation towards things, if we don't break down the obvious first, then we have to accept the criticism that people say about it. But see, if you have somebody like that that comes in and he's able to analyze and break down things, and if you've got some evidence that you cannot understand, put it out there and put on their perception as reality, and tell us how you feel. But let's be civilized human beings about it. We're all human beings. We don't need to be back slapping people. We don't need to make people feel bad for thinking that they have evidence there, because perception is reality. Guys, I want to thank you for being on the show tonight. It has been a pleasure. And thank you for watching a Dark Society Paranormal podcast. I am your host. I am Shane McLean, and I will talk to you later. Peace.